I'm Virginia and I'm with Hass, and we're going to talk about what he's been up to for the past few months and also what his future plans are. So, Hass, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good. How are you, Virginia? It's nice to catch up
I'm
with you.
good. What have you been up to the past few months?
Oh, what have I been up to? So obviously, as my relatively viral post went off, I went back to the NHS. And that to me was weird. So I went back because I wanted to be a prescriber, because I thought that was the way my career should have gone as a pharmacist, because everything was going towards a prescribing route. Pharmacists are being pushed to be more clinical. And I didn't want to be left behind. But then, so I've been in pharmacy for like a while now, and it's like, nothing has changed. I love the job. I'd like to say I'm good at my job because I'm a quick learner and I genuinely care for patients, but at the same time, I'm efficient. And I think that's what a lot of people in the NHS are missing. Not saying people are slow, but people are not too efficient because some people delve too much into things. And sometimes you don't need to do that because our biggest priority is getting people out and getting people in. And then sometimes they end up looking at things unnecessarily from like months ago. And you're like, that's already been done. It's cool. So it's efficiency. And I think the NHS is struggling a lot with that, and they're struggling with the retention of their staff, which is then felt on the people who are inside. So I'm still in it now, don't get me wrong, and I'm working as a specialist kind of like nutrition role, which is different for me, so it's been fun to learn. But I haven't had the opportunity to do my prescribing course, but I think that's actually come as a blessing. So the past 4 months, I've just been really trying to do this course just to kind of like see what's going on. I've actually applied to move to Australia for next year. I applied to go work as a pharmacist over there and then realized that Australia doesn't actually need prescribers either. So, and if that is my end goal, I don't need to worry myself. But back to pharmacy, nutrition role is really fun, but it's just not as rewarding as I thought it would be. Like, I really do enjoy the job. I'm learning so much about it. But because of the short staffing, it's sometimes annoying when you're kind of going in and trying to do one thing and your head's in one place and then someone's like, go cover here, go cover there. Do this, can you help out with this? But like, no one's appreciating you for doing it. They're just expected to do it. And I think that's the element of appreciation is being missed, and that's why a lot of people are leaving. People aren't being made to feel like they're important there. People are being made to feel like, that's just the way the conveyor belt goes. So I was like, you know what, let me take a step back, because there are so many companies out there that are like, we want to help the NHS, we want to do this, we want to help doctors' lives easier and all this stuff. And I look at these companies and I'm like, research all the series A, B, and C kind of healthcare startups who are like promising X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, which of these are actually doing anything? Because like all of these are getting investments, but I'm not hearing about it in the news. I'm not hearing, like, the only one I heard of is Babylon being sold to eMeds or eHealth, I think it was, whatever it's called, and that's actually doing okay now. But the other ones I'm reading about are not doing much, and I can't help but think, why? And then a person on LinkedIn, I can't remember what his name was, Dr. Mark Cox, I think it was, or Dr. Mark. I apologize, Dr. Mark, I got your name wrong, but I can't help that. But he posted something which really resonated with me. Like, a lot of health tech companies are tech companies in healthcare, because there's just a bunch of really, really smart people in tech and coding who are able to create these amazing programs. But because they don't know how the NHS actually works, like they can see it from the outside, they read the reports, but they don't have the insider knowledge of like, no, this is actually what we need. So there's all these amazing tech, but although yes, theoretically it does do wonders for the NHS, realistically it doesn't, because like we don't have time to look into this kind of stuff. So I think there's a big gap for people to go into these kind of companies and be like, no, this is great, but you should do this and this and this. Help this kind of multidisciplinary team here. I know these guys are struggling with this. Make this process faster. You'll make yourself a winner there. And that will, save money for the NHS in the long run, get good sales, and then you can go on from there. And that's sort of what I wanted to do. So being in London has been great for that, because I've been connecting with the right people, networking really well in person, meeting the right friends in the right places, and they've been guiding me X, Y, and Z and introducing me to everyone else. So through them, I've met lots of like healthcare startup founders and all that stuff who actually really came from my input. And I did it, like, I worked with a couple of people and they really appreciated what I said. And they're working towards it. And I felt more satisfied with the job that way. And I thought, you know what, this could be a really good trajectory to go down. It helps improve my business knowledge, but at the same time, it actually does something for the NHS. While yes, as a pharmacist, obviously you're improving patients' lives better, but if you work on something like that, and if one of the things that you advise on goes in to be implemented, and consequently improve the lives of hundreds of thousands of patients instead of the 1, 2, 3 that you're looking after, you've made a bigger impact that way, and that's the way I look at it. So that's why I'm going down that way. I'm looking down to cut down NHS hours and probably eventually leave in the next couple of months, depending on what roles come my way. And And that's what I'm working towards. But also, I've been working as a writer still. Like, like writing is still a big passion of mine. I really enjoy it, and it's really, really financially viable. For everyone out there still wondering, so I work like 10 hours a week of writing, and I don't like boasting about salaries and stuff, but I do make the same amount of salary 10 hours a week writing as I do with my 40 hours a week in pharmacy. Like my weekly income is the exact same, probably more from writing than it is from pharmacy. So just to put that into perspective, it is lucrative. It's just like myself and Virginia have both put in the hours over the past 4 years to actually like make ourselves known. Like I get emails maybe twice a month. We put in the calls. We put in the effort of the past 4 years. So people now start emailing us now and offering us roles here and there. So like finding clients has been pretty easy for me. I know a lot of freelancers I've been seeing on LinkedIn have said they're struggling at the moment. I still feel like there is a lot more out there, but I think there's a lot more retainer stuff out there. I think one-off projects are being handed over to AI. One-off blogs here and there, which is what people used to like get, to start off with, they're just being handed over to AI, and then internal teams will edit them. So that's why I think there's less of like, hey, we need someone to help us out with this. But like, if you connect with the right people, introduce yourself to them and talk to them and see what they want, there is potential for retainer. And the retainer doesn't have to be expensive. Like, people think a retainer is like 10K a month or something. No, like, you have a retainer for 500 quid a month. And like, you start off with that, then you get another retainer the month after for another, say, 800 a month. And there you go, you got 1,300 a month consistently. Then you get another retainer. And then before you know it, you're on 2.5, 3K a month, which is about a 50K salary in the UK. And which is pretty good. You're still on top 1% of earners here. And that's fantastic. You can afford to live, I'd say, comfortably. You might not be able to save in London, but elsewhere in the world, elsewhere in the UK, you'll be able to be very comfortable and be able to save. So like that's how we should look at it, and not look at these people saying like, I earned 15K this month. Ignore that, because that's not like, it's an aspiration, and obviously we all want that, but these guys are probably working like ridiculous hours. They don't actually have the work-life balance they claim to have.
You can earn 15K, but at what cost? I've been there.
Like I said, I'm doing 10 hours a week, and I'm on like, as I said, the same salary as a pharmacy, and that's fine. And obviously, I can put in more hours if I wanted to, and I hopefully will in the future. But it's there. So the plan going forward is to cut down my hours in hospital to do more consulting stuff. I'm about to hopefully work with some brands that I have been watching for like 3 years and like my dream clients. And I've got to that point where hopefully I'm going to get that. So I'm looking forward to that. And then once I get that, I'm probably going to go back down more to writing, marketing, and combine that with consulting, because a lot of consulting for businesses ends up being marketing too, and like marketing towards the right people. And working with like medcoms agencies, knowing the ABPI, knowing the regulations, also really helpful, because like the health tech and med tech industry, digital health is just very like still up in the air. There's regulations there, but like they're not the most strong. So it's like knowing how to navigate those. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. I'm just excited to like see what the crack is and life from the outside of healthcare. So I want to help patients out from the outside, not the inside anymore. And I think
I love that. I think that you don't need to be in the NHS to help the NHS. You can have an impact from the outside. And it's really interesting to hear that you make technically 4 times as much as a writer than you do as a pharmacist in the NHS.
Yeah, no, that's really looking at it that way. It's ridiculous. And I think a lot of people are driven to like leave the NHS at the moment as well. I think for me, there's no like, you want to be surrounded by the right people, and I can't speak for other disciplinaries in healthcare. Like, I mean, I could tell that doctors probably, a lot of them aren't happy, especially junior ones. It's diabolical. Same with pharmacists. As I said, a lot of people are leaving from all trusts all around, and that's in the office environment as well. Like when you're in that, it doesn't really drive you to do better. When you speak to people and they're like, "Oh, I'm going off to do this," like no one's staying in pharmacy, and it's like, well, that doesn't drive me to do any better. Like whereas outside of pharmacy, if I go to the gym, meet some people, speak to people doing X, Y, and Z, all their careers have like this like significant step progress. And before I used to look down, like back at that and be like, "Oh, that's weird," but then when you look at a banded system in the NHS, so you're going up in bands. You can only get to a certain band, and that's it. You're kind of done. And in pharmacy, you get to your senior band like what, the age of 28. You're done. But like you're then capped at that salary for the whole life, your whole life. So there's no incentive to kind of keep growing. Whereas like you meet people who are in, I don't know, different industry, and they're our age, but they're also on like twice as much salary with scope to increase that double again. And it's like we need that drive, and I think it's important for healthcare professionals to find an avenue that allows them to practice medicine in a way that encourages drive and financially is beneficial. And that's what I'm trying to find. Not saying I'm the expert in it, but I'm trying to find it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really great goal to work towards. You're, trying to find satisfaction in your work, but then also satisfaction in your life, and they feed into each other. And what I find really interesting about what you're doing is that you are essentially the middleman, the middle healthcare professional between the NHS and a health tech company. So, like you said, some companies are just tech companies in the NHS or trying to help the NHS, but they haven't got that healthcare perspective that you have. And so you've kind of found your niche as a healthcare professional. And I know that a lot of healthcare professionals are trying to get more involved in digital health because they've seen what you said, is that you can have an impact on hundreds of thousands of people rather than just one person in a face-to-face kind of consultation. And also people who work in the NHS tend to do it for a short time and then they often cut down their hours and then they go and do some kind of private work, whether that's having their own clinic or being a writer or starting their own company. And I think we're seeing that trend where people want to get more out of life, and if a job is too stressful, we're just saying no and walking away. And it's not just one person, it's lots of people. And so I think there are lots of internal issues in the NHS that need to be sorted out, and they're driving brilliant people like you away, which is a real shame because we need every person we can get if we want to keep the NHS going.
It's just mad. I mean, like, there's a shout out to Dr. Derek Core, because he's one of the people who's been very helpful for me in finding out what I want to do, and what he has done with, pardon me, Adopt Doc, which I think is amazing. And I think that concept of Adopt Doc is just incredible, and that's what the health tech industry needs. So for like doing that, I know you've motivated me to do it, to kind of move on to try and sort of like follow your lead. I think that's good. So if anyone is interested, Dr. Derek Core is fantastic to reach out to. But I'm also stepping down from my clinic because I need to focus on everything that I've just talked about. I feel like for me, I'm still, like, as I said, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I mean, I've said all this stuff. This is all stuff that I want to be doing. And it's only, I owe it to myself to be somewhat selfish, just to actually understand what I'm doing, and hopefully get to a point where I can be satisfied, be happy, and understand what that is. And, we all, as I said, like, no one really has it fully figured out. Some people do, but it's about stepping back and letting Virginia take the lead and do amazing things in right clinic, which I'm very excited just to watch and support the whole way through. So that's my main reason for stepping down, is just that I have to drive and find what I need to do in my life. that's why that's why it is stepped down. So I'm sorry for leaving all that burden of right clinic on your head, Virginia. But I know you're going to be amazing at it.
Oh, thank you. I'm really excited as well. And I think, I'm ambitious as well. So the amount of time I can dedicate to Right Clinic isn't going to be as much as when we were working on it together, because now it's just me. So, I still have to kind of ration my time to make sure that I'm doing what I'm passionate about as well. And I think, I'm definitely moving in the direction towards helping more healthcare professionals get onto YouTube. And they just don't have the the regulatory knowledge around medical writing that you need as a foundation for creating your videos. And I think if you're putting yourself out there on video, you can really you can be risky, basically. So it's better to have someone who's done it, or someone who knows what they're doing, to give you that helping hand. So I'm really excited to do more of that. And I think medical writing will always be there. It will always be the core of what we do, in any case and in any sense. And you always need some level of marketing and some level of strategy. And because we've both got that, we can, adapt it to whatever kind of job. And I think people really underestimate what medical writing is, because it can open up so many opportunities for you. And because you specialize in health and medical topics, then you know how to research, you know how to write effective kind of manuscripts or scripts or whatever you need to create, and then help with marketing and create that content that is going to have the impact that you want. And that's adaptable to to health tech, to video, YouTube, to everywhere. And Yeah, I think we've had a good run, and now it's going to be exciting to see what happens next. So I'm really excited for your journey as well. And I think that it's so important to, you know, not feel like you're dragging a big stone behind you and it's slowing you down to get to where you want to go. And sometimes you just need to do that in life, and it's totally fine. And I'm perfectly happy for you. So thank you, and obviously we're going to keep in touch and give each other opportunities, because we do that a lot. So yeah, I think that's a good route. Any like final words, or I'm sure I'll invite you in future anyway to just see how things are going.
Just best of luck. I know you're going to be amazing, and I'm excited to watch your journey as well, to share mine. So yeah, it's exciting. As I said, it is very exciting. So I'm really looking forward to this new chapter.
Yeah, thank you. And good luck to you too. I think it's going to be amazing, and I'm really excited to watch you grow. And I'm obviously going to follow, keep following you on LinkedIn and text you and bother you. So yeah, obviously I'll link to Hass's LinkedIn in the description box below. And if you enjoyed this episode, then I look forward to seeing you in the next one. All right, bye.